this is more around like the sort of the financial things of football, and trying to keep the big teams on the top and things like that. And this, I don't know how many of you have heard about this, but the whole Project Big Picture, which has now essentially been scrapped. But I think, Rob, you've looked into more of this than I have. So
yes.
Do you want to fill in?
This article is from bbc.co.uk/sports, and it's basically Mikel Arteta's take on Project Big Picture. Mikel Arteta, of course, Arsenal manager. He says clubs must help each other make football more sustainable. They unanimously agreed on Wednesday that the proposals endorsed by Big Picture will not be endorsed or pursued. Southampton boss Ralph Hasen, who said the plans would make the league boring and remove the chance of anyone doing a Leicester.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's my
doing a Leicester,
well.
obviously, for a lowlier club winning the league, that will just eradicate any chance of that happening.
Aston Villa, can't shock the world again or anything like that.
Everton are doing amazingly well at the moment. If they win the league, that would be a shock to me. They commit. The Spaniard believes clubs have an obligation to protect the lower leagues and grassroots football. That can make the game sustainable, and we still evolve regarding the context we are in at the moment, which is important as well. It's different to what it was 20 years ago. We had to move. We had to share a vision to achieve that at the end of the day for the benefit of everyone. The plans that were proposed by Liverpool and Man U were rejected at meetings of the 20 clubs in England's top flight, who instead agreed to work together on a new strategic plan for the financing of English football. They also decided on a £50 million rescue package for League One and League Two clubs. I love that these Premier League clubs, they haven't forgotten about the lower leagues and the more grassroots, less sustainable clubs. Because for my mind, even though I'm a fan of a Premier League team, there is nothing like going to a lowlier team's ground. I have been to Matlock FC a couple of times, and it's always a fantastic day because of they're very humble roots. They still have a tea bar with amazing sausage rolls there. They have a very lovely picturesque view of the Peak District from this stadium, which I think a lot of clubs you have these horrendous big corporate monstrosities where you just can't see anything but just the rest of the stand. Whereas this one, this and I believe Braga have built their stadium on the side of a mountain, right? So you can see like all these mountains, and I just love picturesque stadiums like that, and that's something that I feel like should be preserved. But the big picture proposals, anyway, we have the list. Down here. What they propose for Project Big Picture, the Premier League will be cut from 20 to 18 clubs, with the Championship, League One and League Two each retaining 24 teams. Now, immediately, I don't like that idea.
I don't know why the change is needed, to be honest, because it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. The 20 is just a nice round number, and it's a nice, and it would just. It would make it less competitive at the end of the day as well.
Absolutely.
And you would never have instances where a team like from the playoffs, like Fulham. I mean, Fulham is a bad example because they're doing horrendously at the moment. But, any upset that Fulham might have on the cards, like beating Man City or Liverpool later on, then that would be off the cards thanks to this, because the playoffs just wouldn't. The bottom two teams in the Premier League relegated automatically, with the 16th place team join the Championship playoffs. That's just...
I don't get that one. I'm trying to wrap my head around that one. So, what was it? Bottom two teams relegated automatically.
So the 16th place team in the Premier League would join the Championship playoffs. That is so horrendously unfair to the Championship teams, because it's a Premier League team going into Championship playoffs.
That doesn't make any sense. The whole idea is to let the Championship teams play off against each other so that they can have a chance at that promotion. It's like, who's gonna get this new job at your firm? Is it gonna be your current manager at the same level of his, or is it gonna be the person below him? It's like, who's got the more experience, sort of thing. That just does not make sense. The League Cup and Community Shield abolished.
Now I'm almost in agreement with this one because they have been kind of competitions that haven't been taken super seriously.
Which one's the League Cup again? Sorry, I know that's a stupid question.
The League Cup is basically the FA Cup.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
But it changes brands every 10 years.
Yeah, so at the moment it's Emirates,
at the moment it's called the Carabao Cup.
Oh no,
before that it was the Carling Cup, and then before that was the Worthington Cup, and
the only thing I can say about those things is it really does stack up the team's schedule. Like, if because you haven't got just the FA Cup and the Emirates. The EFL Cup. You've got the Europa. You've got the Premier League. And then you've got Champions League. All into one, and that can really stack things up.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Parachute payment scrapped. 250 million rescue fund made immediately available to all English Football League and 25% of all future TV deals. 100 million pounds paid to the Football Association to make up for lost revenue. And 9 clubs given special voting rights based on their long time in the Premier League.
Deal breaker for me.
I think that was the deal breaker for a lot of people, to be fair. The elitism involved in determining football clubs' fates, essentially. I think this is absolutely scandalous.
As if they're not on top already, and then this is just going to make them even more.
And we both say these as fans of top 6 teams.
I mean, I'm even criticising my own club over this because this is not, like, at least I saw in the press conference with Spurs against West Ham that Mourinho was even against this proposal as well, and it looks like Arteta's in disagreement with it also. So, hats off to both those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Apparently, the 50 million rescue package that I mentioned earlier was rejected. So, thanks for keeping me up to date on that, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame. I do hope that Premier League teams can give some, because they're just such large multi-billion pound international conglomerates, funded by Russian oil oligarchs and Saudi Arabians and stuff. I'm hoping that one day what Tottenham did for Leyton Orient, when they I very much admired Tottenham for that, and I don't say it often. For what was it? They something to do with the shirt selling. A bunch of Tottenham fans bought Leyton Orient shirts.
Yeah,
for as a sort of penance for their fixture being cancelled.
I'm even using.
I think it was a top move
on my FIFA 21 at the moment, because I always liked. I always had a soft spot for Leyton Orient, and I'm a person as well. Like, despite the team that I support, I do have a soft spot for a few other teams. Like, I do like Leicester, and I do like watching Southampton from time to time, and teams like that as well. So I haven't watched a Cardiff City game in a while, though. That's the only downside. But there's not much to watch at the moment.
But anyway, in essence, I'm reading the rest of the article. So these plans would have made the league boring. Southampton manager Hasenhüttl said he was not surprised by that the proposals were rejected. It's short thinking because maybe you get immediately a little bit more money or a better advantage for yourself. But in the end, it ends up a league that has maybe one champion for the next 9 years. Like in Germany or in Italy or in Scotland or in
Spain,
etc., etc. Well, Spain is kind of competitive.
I don't know,
compared to Germany, Bayern have just blitzed it for these, and Juventus have just blitzed Italy for the last few years.
Absolutely,
and PSG are blitzing Ligue 1 for the last few years.
That's why these leagues themselves aren't regarded as like the absolute best leagues in the world, because you can't consider.
I think with the exception of a few leagues here and there internationally, it's already happened.
Yeah, I just mean you can't really consider a league like the best league in the world if like just the top 4 or 3 teams in them are absolutely spectacular and go into the Champions League all the time. I think it's more of a collective. These teams, it's very unpredictable. I think that's why the Premier League, is usually regarded as, the highest earning league in the world in that sense.
Well, anything can happen in the Premier League, which is it's Hasenhüttl said the reason why Premier League is so famous is because it's the most competitive in the world. A 7-2 result from Aston Villa against Liverpool is what makes this league so interesting. This is what nobody wants to miss.
Yeah. And, it's like Rodrigo, for example. He was in Valencia and he was competing against like Barcelona and Real Madrid, and then he wanted to. Then he moved to Leeds. That sort of thing, and Leeds are still doing pretty well. And I think they've had quite a bit of backing to keep themselves up in the Premier League. So that's also good.
Yeah. So anyway, just kind of in summary, really, it was this project Big Picture has pretty much been a massive failure in every asset, really, and I'm glad that they've kind of decided not to go through with it.
Yeah,